All right, friends, it's T-Man, and I'm back with a new video, bro. And I just love doing videos on these channels, these new channels. Sometimes I don't do them. I don't do them much, but I love the enthusiasm that these people have in their videos. But anyways, it's a learning lesson for some people, not me, but it's interesting watching people thinking, they've discovered the secret or something, but whatever. Anyways, we're going to react to this guy. It's a semi new channel here, I guess. We Get Better. His name is We Get Better. So in this video, We Get Better says how to outsmart 99% of calisthenics athletes. Streetlifting guide. Oh, interesting. Okay, he knows the secret. 16 years old. Okay.
I learned the full planche at the young age of just 14.
He did. Incredible.
And I also learned the front lever completely from scratch prior to any front lever training.
Cool. I mean, if I weighed like 50 pounds, I too could learn that easily at 50 pounds, lifting my weight at 50 pounds with the limb muscles. You see, your limb muscles, they get so big, but your body can carry a lot more weight than your limb muscles. That's why people always try to say to you, they tell you, oh, this guy, he could bench press 400 at like a body weight of 150 pounds. Yeah, but you're not using your whole body weight. You're using your upper body in a bench press. Get it? But whatever, man. Anyways, I just love these people, but this is interesting. Okay.
In about 3 months when I was 12 or 13. And also did a weighted dip with 105 kilograms when I was 15 years old, and
this is pretty good. This is really good. He started early. That's the thing, because he started early. But I know a method that you could get there a lot quicker, believe me. Because in this video, he says it took him 5 years, but I could get people there within just a few months, really. But okay.
weighed in only at 62 kilograms body weight. And I'm 16
Oh, that's not bad. Okay, 62 kilograms body weight now. Okay.
now, looking like this. 5 years.
Okay. He's got good shape, but he's not big. But he's got good shape, definitely. And he has, he's young, so you're gonna activate these motor units. You're gonna have they're ready to go. They're firing, whatever. The best years are your young years. You're gonna be really strong at doing these so-called exercises. But okay.
Of training, a completely natural transformation. So I have
I
the
don't doubt it. Does he look natural to you? Look at him. He doesn't look massive to me, but okay. But that really doesn't have anything to do with being unnatural, even being massive. But okay, whatever.
credibility to shit on almost any other calisthenics or street lifting influencer
Hey, he's got my favorite guy, Barcel. I love that guy, the calisthenics guy. Okay. He'd probably been watching him, yes.
that you watch. And I also have the secret way to make more progress than 99% of people. So for a second, I
See, at 16, he's got the secret way already, bro.
want you to forget about all of the brainwashing by the popular fitness influencers that are just trying to sell you a BS workout program. So start
I wouldn't doubt that. I believe you. Yes, they are.
taking notes because this video is going to be full of value. Because I have literally nothing to sell you, bro. I make these videos because I want people like you, younger men, to know the truth about making progress, your true natural potential, the secret
I love that one. Your true natural potential. Phew. You people are all in for a surprise in this video. Just wait a minute.
rapidly gaining strength isn't like the two-set method BS or any other fitness program. It is,
Really?
I will need to explain this, so please stick with me. It is training like a power lifter and mainly not like
Wait, it is training like a power lifter and not training like what?
a bodybuilder. So if
Whoa, this is interesting. So it's training like a power lifter, which lifts concentrically, which is associated with a loss of sarcomere series. Okay, well, yeah, bro. Okay, but it's not like a bodybuilder. But then he shows a drug addict. But the power lifter may have been a drug addict too. See, real bodybuilders, we lift eccentrically. Now, power lifters, they lift concentrically. So bodybuilding must be the principle of bodybuilding must be eccentric exercise, but I guess he doesn't understand that. See, a lot of these people, they don't even understand they don't even understand the modalities in eccentric exercise. They don't know. Ask anybody. Go to your friends and ask them, do you know the modalities of eccentric exercise, what they are? The 3 modalities. Well, I'll tell you in this video. It's submaximal, supramaximal, and accentuated overload eccentric exercise, okay? It's based on EIMD exercise-induced muscle damage. But do you think any of your friends or coaches in the gym know any of that? No, they don't. They don't even know what that is. They don't even know the meaning, bro. Get it? Yeah, they're so into conventional lifting. They have no clue.
You never heard the difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting?
Yes, I know the difference. Powerlifting is not a modality in bodybuilding to build your body. To bodybuild, get it? It isn't.
Let me quickly sum it up. The bodybuilder has a split, like a workout training split, divided.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Real bodybuilders, we lift eccentrically. That's where all the growth is. That's where all the hypertrophy takes place. All the growth in your strength gains are in the eccentric, because you could lift 140% in the eccentric. You could always lift heavier in the eccentric, providing it's not full range of motion, because if it is, then the eccentric in the full range of motion will always be constrained by the concentric at 70% of your max lift. So it can't be based on bodybuilding.
To muscle groups. So chest and triceps, back and biceps, or the push-pull legs workout program.
Yeah, that's all bullshit. People just make that up because they're confused. They don't know what they're doing. They try to use powerlifting and bring it over to bodybuilding, and then they lift like that. They think it's accessory work. It's not accessory work if you're going astronomically heavy in the eccentric.
Etc. And the bodybuilder does like 3 to 5 sets.
Look, he doesn't even know what's getting him so-called jacked. He's doing calisthenics. Calisthenics is based on eccentric exercise, because it has to be, because there's so much weight load on that small area going down eccentrically all the time. You understand me? When you're on a pull-up bar, where's all the load going to be placed? On your back area, your back, your lats, whatever. Where's the load? Your body, it's pulling down. That's why it's body weight. But anyways, a lot of it is eccentric because you're going down with gravity. There's a lot of stretching, pulling motions for stretching there.
Of 10 to 20 reps of like 7 different exercises with the same amount of intensity, and that's pretty much the entire work.
No, that's not what bodybuilders do. Those are fake people on steroids. They lift conventionally full range of motion, and then they fail, and so they carry it over. They took steroids and they think, well, steroids has the magic power, but you'll get the same outcome, a 0. So how did you get a new outcome? Because you took steroids. Get it, kid? You understand me? It's failure. You don't get a new outcome doing the same exercises over and over again at 70% of your max lift in the full range of motion. You have to lift eccentrically to get gains in strength and muscle.
But the powerlifter has an exercise-based split or a skill-based split, if you are going to put it into like calisthenics and streetlifting. That means they have like squat, bench, and deadlift in one day they train.
They do, but the majority of their exercises are concentric. There's some eccentric, but it rapidly adapts quickly.
Squats, benches, the deadlifts. Then they train the bench, and then they train the deadlifts, bench, and squat in that order. Or if we translate it into calisthenics, you are going to, for example, train front levers, planches, muscle ups, etc. And the powerlifter does 1 to 2 primary exercises with max intensity. What are primary exercises? The primary exercises for a powerlifter.
I love his enthusiasm, man. He thinks he knows something, but okay.
Are the squat, bench, and deadlift.
Yeah.
Primary exercises for the street lifter or calisthenics athlete might be weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, full planche, front lever, planche push-ups, Hephaestos, these types of things. And then after that, the powerlifter does 2 to 4 sets of support exercises.
Yeah, okay. What's 2 to 4 sets going to do? He's lifting conventionally. Conventionally. He's lifting concentrically, which is associated with a loss of sarcomere in series, bro. Get it? You understand me? And it's not a modality to build any sarcomeres in series or in parallel, kid. You understand me? It's not. It'll give you high force production lifting concentrically. It'll make you better at lifting that way, definitely. But it will always make you weak in the eccentric because that's where everybody gets injured. But guess what? If you lift eccentrically, you can lift heavier. So you'll become automatically good at concentric lifting. So your strength increases, you become stronger in the eccentric, and you're automatically better in the concentric, and you build more sarcomere in parallel and in series. You understand me, kid?
Support exercises are exercises that are not the primary movement. For example, for the weighted dip, the support exercises...
There he goes. He's doing the weighted dip, and look how much weight he's got on there. Why doesn't he just do his body weight? Why is he using weight? The kid, why are you using weight? See what I mean? There's stress going up. Look at all that stress going up and going down. There's still a heavy stretch going on there.
Might be, for example, close grip push-ups, bar dips, close grip bench press, incline dumbbell bench press, just exercises that complement the muscle group and are also similar to the movement, kinda, but are not the actual skill. And
here's the thing, how do you make your muscles adapted to even the eccentric? Let's say they're doing eccentric. This guy's doing that exercise eccentrically, like these people doing calisthenics. How does it become adapted and no longer grows? It now just becomes a stretching exercise, like old people in Pilates class stretching their muscles, but there's no damage anymore. So there's no damage, just stretching. How do you do that? It's easy. You start easing into the exercise. You come in often. The more often you do the exercises, you're adapted. There's no more growth. And so these calisthenic guys, they fail. At some point, they get a little bit jacked, but then they fail. They can't get more of it, and they're not getting much stronger. Bodybuilding is a much more superior modality to get stronger because the so-called calisthenics is from bodybuilding, and then we do what they call accessory work. But we don't treat that accessory work as accessory work because we're lifting eccentrically heavier. You understand me? And we do the big four, and in the big four we're concentrating on the eccentric, regardless whether there's some concentric there or whatever. We are focused on the eccentric when we're moving our exercises. Plus, not only that, but we also get isometric. We have some isometric and we have eccentric. So we're getting gains doing things isometrically, and we're getting gains doing things eccentrically in our exercises because we don't use our arms, especially rowing.
These are done in the rep ranges from 4 to maybe even 10 or 12, and with moderate intensity, not really to failure. So now when you know that you should train like a powerlifter, how does it...
Look, man, think about it. In powerlifting, when they lift the bar, let's say they're doing, sumo squat, right? Okay, where are their arms? Their arms are holding on to the bar. Do they row their arms up? Like, do they row it upward? Do they row it like they're rowing a back exercise, bro? Do they row their arms? Or are their arms straight, like hanging down straight, pulling up a weight? Yeah, they're hanging down straight, pulling up a weight. So what is that? That is isotonic. You get it? That's isotonic, bro. So anyways, whatever. You get the idea. Or isometric, sorry. It's isometric. It's isometric. And so can you get gains doing things isometrically? Yes, depending if it's astronomically heavy, it's pulling on your muscle fibers. But 2, at some point it will adapt.
Exactly translate into calisthenics and streetlifting. Let me give you a full detailed example for the full planche. So if you want to level up the full planche, start writing this down. So first, we are going to start with the primary movements you are going to do after warming up.
That is isometric. A planche would be considered isometric, but it's at some point it adapts. You get some gains there. You can get some gains, okay, but it'll adapt, and you're not really doing much there. It's more based on motor unit.
Obviously, 5 sets of around 3 to 5 second planche holds of the max progression.
Look, I guarantee you, if you build more sarcomeres in parallel in series, you'll be able to do those automatically. You should be able to do them automatically. You don't have to practice much at doing them. They're practicing at doing them, using their nervous system, which is not based on muscular strength.
For example, you are at the one leg.
It is based on muscular strength, but it's hard. It's kind of, man, I don't know how to explain this. A lot of what they're doing, they're just relying on that. But you don't have to, because your natural strength will increase way more when you get more muscle fibers, and so it'll have more places to proliferate the motor unit.
Planche, and you can hold it for around 3 to 5 seconds. So we are going to do that. Or you can do the full
Going to do that? Okay, my friend.
planche with a light resistance band. You do that. Just pick one of these. And you can also do 3 sets of, for example, one leg, and then the other 2 sets, so it fills up the 5
I could.
sets, obviously. You can do full planches with the resistance band. You can mix it up a bit. The beauty of this is that it is really, really flexible and really, really easy to program if you know what you are doing. And then after you do these 5 sets, you can even do drop sets. This is really good for the planche hold. So for example,
Drop sets. Drop sets means you're going lighter. In bodybuilding and eccentric exercise, we only ever go lighter if our form is not good enough and we just want to correct our form. But we usually go heavier. We always go heavier. We don't really go lighter. Like I said, unless there's a correction in form. If the form is not on, sometimes you want to have better form to see if you can betterly cause these micro tears in the muscle fibers. That's about it.
you hold the one leg planche for the 5 seconds, but then you just can't anymore and the form worsens. So you just switch to an advanced tuck planche immediately. So you are doing the one leg planche and then you immediately switch to the advanced tuck planche and hold that.
You see all these things that these people, they have to go through? And all the formula is this: all you have to do is heavy eccentric work. That's it. And you're going to get there super fast. It's not going to take you 5 years like this kid or whatever. 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, whatever. You can do it within less than a year, okay?
Progression for around 3 seconds. Then after that, you do a back off. It's called a back off. That's what powerlifters do. That's like you do the main set of bench press. You, for example, do 3 sets of 3 reps, which is really common. And then you load up only about 70% of the weight that you were doing. For example, my bench PR is 140 kilograms. So I do 3 reps with 130 kilograms. But then I load up only about 90 to 100 kilograms and do that for sets of 6 to 8 with moderate intensity, so I don't go to failure. And this is really easily applicable to the planche hold. So you just switch to a progression, for example, the advanced tuck planche, and hold that for more than 5 seconds. So that's going to be around an 8-second hold. You do that for around 2 to 3 sets for your back off. After that, you have your second primary movement, which is going to be the planche push-ups, because you probably want to do some planche push-ups in the future. So you, for example, do 4 sets of 3 reps. 3 reps are really good for strength, but 3 reps for planche push-ups, the volume just isn't there, and it isn't like an exercise like the bench press. Planche push-ups are like really hard to hold, actually, in between doing the push-ups. That's why you are also going to do drop sets for this. So for example, you can do advanced tuck planche push-ups and you do 3. Then you go to a tuck planche and then you do another 3. And after you finish that, you are going to do a back off, which is probably going to be, if the advanced tuck planche is what you can do 3 to 4 reps with, you are going to do the tuck planche, maybe even advanced tuck planche, but with a resistance band. This is really flexible, as I said. And you are going to do around 6 reps for your back off and do 2 sets of that. And now it's getting into the support exercises. This section that I just named will take probably half an hour, maybe a bit more. So now I have some support exercises listed that I saw the most progress with. The first one is called planche press. I will probably find the video. The video is probably going to be old.
Oh man, this is really funny watching these videos. I can't find it. Okay. Like I said, I like his enthusiasm. It's interesting. It's good to be enthusiastic, but you know, it takes a while to really understand what is going to get you where you want to go.
Maybe not. It's literally you go on the bench and you hold a bar like this, and you can do planche push-ups with that. You can like hold.
Yes, I could.
And my favorite is
I could do planche push-ups like that. So I'm gonna do my arms. I'm gonna work my arms. Okay.
pressing it. So you go slowly down, then you literally place it on your thighs, and then you bounce it up a little bit, hold it in the planche position, then press it up, press it down, hold, down, bounce, hold, press up.
People don't realize your back muscles have a very short range of motion. That's why they move their arms, because they think, well, if I bend my arms and roll my arms, that will give me a longer range of motion for my back muscles. Well, in fact, your back muscles are not getting worked, bro. You're working your arms. You understand me? That's why people can't understand the isometric hold. The isometric hold is your arm is holding a very heavy weight, but your back has a very short range of motion. So when it moves forward and backward, it's very short. So in people's minds, they think, well, I'm not doing very much there. No, you're doing a lot there, providing the weight is heavy eccentrically. Get it, man?
It's kind of complex, but bro, I saw the most progress with this. And also people that...
That's why they pick a very heavy weight and they start throwing it like blaha. These guys, they throw them like they do rows for their backs, and they're using their arms. And they think it's impressive because they're lifting with their arms. You understand me? They're lifting a lot with their arms, and they're not using their back muscles. What, okay?
I trained. One guy reached out to me and asked me if I can help him in the full planche. He was my friend. So I was like, sure, I will help you. So I sent him my full planche tutorial. It's going to be over here if you want to watch it. It's pretty old, but the information is as good as I could give it today. And I also gave him this one exercise and emphasized it. And he went from struggling with the straddle planche to doing a really good straddle planche, and also two.
I like those. Those are great, especially if you're at low body weight. Well, if you're building your limb muscles, and you know what I mean, and you're using your body weights very low, well, all the building is in your limb muscles. Okay, you know what I mean. You'll be able to do these at a low body weight very easily, but a higher body weight, it's very difficult. It becomes very difficult. You know what I mean?
Planche push-ups. Then you have straight arm kettlebell or dumbbell press. You grab two dumbbells, you lie on the bench press again with straight arms, and you try to do it like a Maltese. You probably know what that means if you are a calisthenics athlete. You lower it down, go up, all the way.
I love this. If you're a calisthenics athlete, calisthenics is stolen from bodybuilding. They took that from bodybuilding. But okay, there's no such thing as calisthenics. They took it from bodybuilding. Or you could say maybe, man, a lot of it too, man, gymnastics and stuff, bro. It's all part of it, but whatever.
Please remember, whilst doing dynamic exercises with kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, anything,
okay,
hold it for a little bit whilst doing the rep at the part that you actually hold the planche in. For example, I hold it a bit lower because I have short arms and my legs are kind of heavy because I don't skip leg day. So I literally hold the planche, for example, here I will list a video. And when I do, for example, the barbell hold, I hold it over here. I go down, up, hold, over here. Hold, down, hold. You know what I mean. Then the next one can be, for example, planche leans. You grab the parallettes and you just lean into the planche, hold it for a little bit, back off, shake your arms off, maybe even lean again. Do it with elevated feet, super elevated feet, whatever. Then I also recommend doing some scapula work. So for example, you hold the planche lean and you do something like this. If you are not that good, if your scapula keeps falling, which isn't good for the full planche. And then you can do other exercises in the gym, for example, weighted dips, regular dips, bar dips. You can basically pick anything you want. And also incline dumbbell bench press, I like that one. So,
Well, you have to do all of these things because if all else fails, you just keep doing these. Okay.
now you know the secret to making more progress than 99% of people in calisthenics and streetlifting. Because most people are actually kind of stupid.
Really?
They would rather believe a fitness influencer that has maybe even millions of followers and sells a course and buy that than to do
Yes,
more.
I would agree with him. He does have one thing, Pat. It's the calisthenics will definitely help you, but it'll only take you so far. You understand me? It'll only take you so far because, again, it's stolen from bodybuilding, and so you only took that part from it. You left out the rest, kid. Get it? But anyway, okay.
Digging and discover a high value YouTube channel like mine with only like 1,000 subscribers. So if you managed to watch until this part of the video, you have a golden tier attention span because most people need like clickbait, high
I don't think you have 1,000. You have over 2,000 subs. You're new. You're growing. You'll eventually get bigger and bigger because you're young. People are going to be watching you. They're interested.
flashy edits, all of these different things.
The problem is they don't see calisthenics. The problem with people out there in their mind, they don't see calisthenics as making them strong, but they don't understand it's making them physically stronger. But powerlifting makes you better at lifting heavy concentrically. It doesn't make you physically stronger. That's why powerlifters are weak at physical sports like arm wrestling, like Larry Wheels. He's even on steroids. He's weak at arm wrestling. He's weak at many things. He's good at powerlifting, but he's weak at other things that require eccentric exercise. Physical strength, like real physical brute strength. Like punching bags and stuff. You're slow. You don't produce enough velocity. There's no force. There's no strength velocity. But in eccentric exercise, you increase your strength velocity. You can produce more kinetic energy because you have more myofibers. You're bigger, you're stronger, and you're faster. You have more sarcomere series. So that's the whole idea. But people, they can't visually see that. Well, they think, these fake bodybuilders that are building sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, they think, well, they're big, but they're strong, but they're weak. They're big, but they're weak. That's the first thing that comes to their mind. Well, that's a lot of jealousy. They'll say, well, they're big, so they must be weak. Well, I don't know what their training regime is, and then they'll go, but in powerlifting, you could be a small, strong guy. You're not a small, strong guy. You are small, but you're a weak guy. But lifting concentrically, you're not physically strong because you're not big. Bigger is always stronger in this world. That's why people take up lifting, because they're afraid of big people. Bigger people are always stronger. They take up more space. They're bigger, whatever. They have bigger bones, . So they take up lifting and they go, well, I'm stronger now. Now I'm a little small, strong guy, so I must be stronger than the big, strong guy that walks around in the street. No, you will always be weaker than him physically. It just is like that. It doesn't matter how much you can lift off the floor. You'll always be a small, strong guy. You understand me? And he'll be a big, strong guy.
You are just here for the value. So if you want to see more videos like this one, full of value, make sure to subscribe. And if I uploaded a video about how to design workout splits, how to program workout splits, it's called like that, a really high value video, I'm going to record it in about a week, I think. It's the video over here. And if you want to see my daily life, make sure to follow me on Instagram, link in the description. Bye.
No, that was an interesting video. It's got an interesting channel. I just came across this video and I thought I would do a reaction to it. But, like I said, I like the people's enthusiasm. It's kind of interesting, They really haven't gone through all of it. They don't really understand all of it, but they think they have an idea. You know what I mean? This is how it's going to get you. Well, here's the thing. all the things that he mentioned, he says these are the things that are going to get you to where you're going to go. But the question is this: did he do all those things to get him to where he wanted to go? Look at his body and look at his age. Did he do all those things, or did he just fabricate them and make them up? See the difference, friend? That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Me personally, I've gone through all those things. I've done sarcoplasmic training. I've done myofibrillar growth. I've done powerlifting. I've done all of these lifting modalities. You understand me? I even went through a whole regime of eating to figure out what I'm supposed to really eat and stuff. And so I've gone through all that, even the supplementation, the dieting, the lifting. You understand me? So I think only somebody that has actually gone through it and can really explain it to you and actually prove it with real science. Now that's somebody you should be watching, you understand me? Because at least they can pass it on to you. But somebody that is fabricating stuff, that hasn't done it, and they're trying to tell you this is what's going to work for you, yeah, I don't think so, man. You get it? You understand me? And he didn't bring out any science to prove that what he says is going to get you to where you want to go. See what I'm trying to explain to you, dudes? I'll see you in the next one. Touch, think about that, like, subscribe, support the channel. There are many channels like that out there that they lack experience, and I'm not hiring a mechanic that doesn't have enough experience to fix my car. Get it? I don't think you wanna hire this guy as a mechanic. You understand me? With the lack of experience, just because he thinks he knows something, and you want him to work on your, let's say your Lamborghini or your Bugatti, your 500 whatever, your $1 million Bugatti. You understand me, bro? I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friends. You want an expert working on it, not an amateur. See you in the next one.